This is deployed on sales order. First thing in page init function, the problem statement is, whenever the sales order record is created, you will set the customer value as some default customer value. When I say default customer value, let's take this as the customer. This is the ID, right? So I'll use this as ID. So we are as soon as a new sales order record is. You're trying to create a new sales order record. This is called internal ID in NetSuite. And this will be auto-generated by NetSuite. It will always be unique for every single record you create in NetSuite. And if you delete transaction also, that ID also will not be reallocated to anything else. Okay, it will be unique ID for every single record. And NetSuite generates it. So you understand basic database concept, right? This is a primary key, basically. So NetSuite has this primary key, which is internal ID. And there is okay, let's not go. I'll talk about that a little later, because you will get confused. There's another primary key, but I'll talk about that later. Once we talk about it, let's take it right. Now the first ask, or first thing which we are going to do, whenever you create a new sales order, you need to set the customer as this customer, which is human, right? So that is your page init task. Okay, now the second task is. Whenever a form change on the save record function, we need to make sure that the customer field value is available. And there is at least. Let's go, function-wise. Okay, so let's talk about page init first. Okay, now page init. What is the task? We are trying to see that we are trying to send the customer as this customer, as soon as the new sales order record is created. Okay, now, first thing, I mentioned that we are trying to do it in create mode, right, whenever you're creating a new sales order. So we are saying, context mode equals to, if it is not equals to create. What was the ask? Sorry, okay, when the form loads for editing. Okay, so we can do it right. If it is, if it is not create, we are returning. Otherwise, we are trying to set the entity is the internal ID of feed this field, which is our customer. You see, this is the. We are trying to set the value as 13096. Let's remove this, if part at all. So that the trim avoids the country. Very simple agent, part right. We are just getting the current record. Current record dot set value entity value as this. So as soon as we go and create a new order, edit any existing sales order, we will see the value as value for customer. Is this okay? Our save record function is, you need to make sure that we have entity field value available. Entity as in customer, right? So if the customer is available, then fine. If we don't have a customer field value, if we did not set the customer field value, then we need to throw an alert. You understood the problem statement. Let's say, if I create a sales order and if I remove this, right? And if I try to save this, okay, then on your save record function you need to validate if this field value is available. If not, then you need to throw it and throw it. So an alert saying that this field value is missing. Okay, that is the task. Now what we're doing here. We are checking. If the field value entity is not available, this is a note, not symbol, then what we are doing. We are throwing and we are basically creating an error message. So you're creating an error. Instead of that, I'll tell you an easier way, right? Alert. Customer is missing. Kindly add customer name before proceeding. This looks better, right? Okay. So what it does? Alert means, as you save it, it will come as a pop-up on the top. We will see when we try deploying it. We'll see. Okay. Okay. This will come as an alert. Now we can do two ways, right? Okay, let's run it on, create and edit both, if you want to reflect. The condition was on mode right. The condition was, if context.mode is equals to create. Then we do this. Okay, I don't want to run it only for create, I want to run it for create, edit, everything. Now save. Record is clear. Now validate field. What we're doing if we are editing the quantity of sales order item. The validate field events ensure that the number is less than 3. So in validate field, we are seeing if the sublist ID, sublist name right. If the sublist ID is item and field name is equals to quantity, then we are the validate field. Ensure that the number is less than 3. The other ref number. As quantity is less than 3. Okay, so it is. They're not throwing an alert or anything. It is basically they're trying, if it is less than 3, they're trying to value set. The value is less than 3. Otherwise, they're trying to say it is quantity accepted. Anything is fine. So let's modify this a bit. Okay, let's not go with the same thing. Let's say I want to validate is same thing. Let's say, if test tag value is. What should we do? Or should the same example? We can go with the same example also. So, instead of saving this field, value what we'll do. We'll throw an alert. Okay, so what I do if it is less than 3, I will say return false. Else, we have returned. Perfect. When it returns false, it will not allow you to set the field value. So this is what we did in the validate field. If the quantity value is less than 3, then we'll say return false. Otherwise return true, so which means we are saying it. If it is equals to or greater than 3, then it is okay. There is only one parameter, which is our script context of context. Under that you have all these options available. All these you can call it as additional parameters, I would say so. You add additional values, basically objects. You have current record, you have some list ID of field ID, and then you have line also. We are not using line anyways, but we just took it as a, or I can remove it from your right. So we have current record. We have some list ID. We have field ID. Now what we are doing, current record.